A man lived in Illinois, USA, who was both a politician and a businessman and was well respected in his city. But people didn't know that behind the scenes, he was a terrifying clown. A clown who chose his victims from among young boys. This is the story of John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. John was born on March 17, 1942, in Chicago, into a very ordinary family. His father was a World War II soldier whose mental state was unstable due to the pressures of the war. His father would get angry easily, beat John's mother, and drink alcohol every day. As John grew older, his father didn't just hit his mother, he also beat John over trivial matters, like why the American football team he liked had lost. He would take out all his frustrations on his wife and children. Because of this, John disliked his father and didn't want to talk to him. By the age of 13, John's behavior suddenly changed, and he began acting and speaking in ways that resembled girls. This led to everyone teasing him, especially his father. Eventually, he stopped going out and spent most of his time cooking and eating, gaining weight. His father mocked him everywhere, calling him fat, while John hid his sadness as always. John then went to a vocational school to spend less time at home and more time outside. During this period, he realized he was homosexual. However, in 1950s America, being openly homosexual could lead to chemical castration, one of the harshest punishments, so he had to hide it. But he was too impulsive and eventually got caught, which led to him being beaten. Yet the classmates he approached never reported him to teachers or the principal. After this, John changed his behavior again and started befriending girls to conceal his previous tendencies. Time passed, and John graduated at 18. He hated not only his peers, but also Chicago, where he lived. So he decided to leave the city. He moved to a small town called Springfield, 3 hours away, and took a job at a shoe store. Around the same time, he entered politics by joining the Democratic Party. John had become skilled at hiding his homosexuality. His first act was befriending a female co-worker named Marlyn Myers, who can be considered his first target, though he only exploited her superficially. Her father was wealthy and politically connected, so John also tried to befriend him, appearing to want a good relationship. He even pretended to want to marry Marlyn. 2 years later, with her father's approval, John and Marlyn married when they were both 20. After marriage, John's deviant tendencies resurfaced, and he continued his homosexual activities, even while Marlyn was pregnant. When she went into labor, John was preoccupied with his secret activities. Once the child was born, Marlyn's father offered John a managerial position at one of his KFC branches, giving him a good salary. John accepted to maintain political connections and to practice social skills. John became a popular and charismatic figure in Springfield, connecting with staff and customers, which eventually led him to a position in the city government, his first step toward a political career. He had hidden his homosexuality through marriage and parenthood, but he continued secretly. Soon, his homosexuality escalated into pedophilia. He began luring 15-year-old boys, inviting them to his home under false pretenses, assaulting them, threatening them, and hiding them from the world. In 1968, one of his victims, Donald Voorhees, finally confessed to his parents, leading to John's arrest. He was convicted, but due to his political connections, he served only 2 years of a 10-year sentence and was released in 1970. Marlyn divorced him upon learning the truth. John later found another girlfriend, again to conceal his pedophilic tendencies. Since he was legally prohibited from being around minors, he adopted the persona of a clown to gain access to places with children, like schools, playgrounds, and parties. In 1972, he lured a 16-year-old boy, Timothy McCoy, with his clown persona, assaulted him, and murdered him, burying the body in his basement. Over the next few years, he killed 32 boys in similar ways. On December 11, 1978, he had murdered a 15-year-old boy and could not bury him in the basement because there was no space left. John decided to take the body in the middle of the night, put it in his car, drive to a bridge, and throw it into the river. But he made a grave mistake. Bodies do not always stay submerged, and this one floated and was discovered the next day. The boy's parents told the police that their son had gone out the night before, saying he would go to a house to do some basement work for $5 an hour, but he never returned. Because the town was small, suspicion quickly fell on John, though they initially lacked proof to arrest him. Police officers went to his house to question him, asking where he had been the previous night. John lied and gave them an account, and the interview ended. As the officers were leaving, one of them jokingly asked whether there had been a smell of a corpse coming from John's house. They laughed, but after the laughter died down, they realized there might actually be something to check. If the house smelled of a corpse, they could get a search warrant. They went to court, obtained the warrant, and entered John Wayne Gacy's house. They went to the basement and soon discovered just how many bodies had been buried there. John Wayne Gacy's trial took place, and he was sentenced to death. Gacy served 16 years in prison and was ultimately executed by lethal injection.